Welcome to Guthrie Sports Page Television. Chris Evans joined with Chris LeGrand as the Guthrie BlueJays win it tonight over the Bishop McGuinness Fighting Irish by a final score of 21-3. The BlueJays now have a 15-game winning streak. Meanwhile, they snapped the 28-game winning streak of the Bishop McGuinness Fighting Irish and bring in Coach LeGrand. And Coach, we were expecting a lot of points tonight, but it was a defensive battle. The Jays only led 7-0 at half.
Yeah, absolutely. Going into the game, you talked to Coach Watkins or Coach Young of McGuinness, and they both agreed that, hey, anything can happen in this game, you know, especially with McGuinness losing so many defensive players, 7, I think, to graduation. And, you know, lo and behold, it was a defensive struggle, 7-0 at halftime. And I tell you what, like I mentioned to start the third quarter, as long as the Blue Jays were able to score, which they were, and establish a comfortable lead, then with their defense, I think they were going to be able to go on cruise control the rest of the way.
Blue Jays had a 7-0 at halftime, and then McGuinness gets a field goal in the third quarter, but then the Blue Jays come back with a third quarter touchdown by Skylar Smith, a tight end. And Coach, we knew Skylar was going to be a defensive specialist this year, and the Blue Jays really didn't use the tight end a lot, and I don't think they needed a lot last year, but Skylar Smith with a touchdown, he's our Huddle House Player of the Week.
Oh, absolutely. Who would have thunk it going into the game that Skylar was going to end up being the player of the game? You know, Skylar's one of those guys, as we talked about, a man, a few words, but boy, his actions and his play speaks volumes on the field. And, you know, great touchdown reception, great play on the defensive line and at linebacker. So, hey, hats off to Skylar, our Huddle House Player of the game.
And we talked on the radio, Coach LeGrand, that the Guthrie coaches do a great job at halftime. I don't know if they make changes of X's and O's, but getting the players' attention in the second half. And it was a totally different game in the second half. The Blue Jays dominated not only physically, but I think mentally as well on Bishop McGuinness.
Oh, absolutely. You know, going in, having a 7-point lead and shutting out the two-time defending state champion had to be a lot of confidence building. But, you know, the Blue Jays were able to make some adjustments at halftime, were able actually to run the ball, which opened up the passing game. And hats off to Coach Mick and the offensive staff for creating so much balance and keeping McGuinness on their toes the whole evening, basically on their heels the whole evening, and consequently the Blue Jays were able to score a couple more times and put the game out of reach.
A couple of sidebars. Last year there was big game performances. Kai Staley had some, Josh King had some, Dante Foster had some. Tonight, Coach, it was more of a team victory. There wasn't one player that really stood out offensively or defensively, and we haven't seen game film or heard from the coaches, but it was really truly a team victory tonight.
Oh, a collective effort, just like Coach Mick said in the postgame. Offensive line played really well. We're able to open up some holes, give Keaton Callens time to throw the football. LaRon Parker had a big catch. Dante had a couple big catches, as we said, Skylar Smith. So you're right. I mean, overall, from a collective point and a team standpoint, it was just a wonderful effort all the way around for the Blue Jays tonight.
Dante Foster right behind us. It was a play from the 16-yard line, and Keaton Callens threw it to the 50-yard line, and we saw one of the best catches we'll see all season long, a one-handed catch.
Hey, Coach Watkins said it in the postgame. It's one of the most incredible catches he's ever seen. On the radio broadcast, I said, hey, this was insane. I mean, he goes up in the air and brings it down almost like a one-handed rebound, but a magnificent play, as fine a play as you'll see in high school football.
And a sidebar here again, an overflowing crowd here at Gelsman Stadium. I haven't seen much football as you, Coach LeGrand, but this had to be one of the biggest ever attended games at Gelsman Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, standing room only. There was not an empty seat in the house tonight, and I tell you right now, you're looking out here and you really don't see anyone, but just a few hours ago, it was just electric. It's hard to describe it. Unless you were here and experiencing it, it's just hard to describe.
Blue Jays win it 21-3 over Bishop McGuinness, and now on the road to El Reno. A young team, you know, it returned some veterans here as the Blue Jays, but they're going to take some new faces to the road in El Reno.
Oh, yeah, and you know, again, this will be each week as we experiencing new things, and this time it's going to be playing a road game and with a lot of new players. But I tell you what, this victory tonight in front of the home crowd on a very emotional night will do wonders as far as the rest of the season is concerned for the Blue Jays, and hopefully will jumpstart them as they prepare for their first true road test of the season.
So the 5A defending champions extend their winning streak to 15 games in a row. In the meantime, they snapped Bishop McGuinness' 28-game losing streak. Blue Jays won it here 21-3. And for my partner, Chris LeGrand, I'm Chris Evans. Thank you for listening to Guthrie Sports Page Television.